This video is proudly sponsored by VCheck, the only place to go if you're looking for a true vehicle history check.
Hello folks, I'm here today with my mate Dennis. Say hello Dennis.
Hello Dennis.
And we're on our way to Guildford to pick up the Tesla Model Y for what is going to be a bit of an epic journey.
So why are we making this epic journey? Really, it's just to see how easy or difficult it might be to do a long road trip in an EV. Now you probably noticed we're doing this in a car with a very good range. This one's got a range of 331 miles. So I thought it only right that we make life a tiny bit more difficult for ourselves in that we're only going to use Tesla Superchargers. And I want to see how long EV charging puts onto our journey. This trip's over 1100 miles long and we're doing it in 3 days. On day one, we'll leave our homes just outside Bournemouth, travel up to Newcastle and spend the night there before moving on to Whitley Bay and then crossing over to Scotland and visiting Edinburgh on day two. Now day two will also see us cross back into England as we're staying in Carlisle. And on day three, we're going to have a flying visit to the Lake District before returning the car back to Tesla in Guildford. Keep watching to see how it goes and just how easy or difficult it is to do such a long trip in such a short period of time in an electric vehicle.
The weather is absolutely toilet. It couldn't really be worse for a trip like this. Don't know how much you're going to see here, but it's pretty naff.
Right, to Newcastle, James.
To Newcastle, Dennis. So this is your first experience in a Tesla, Dennis, and you're going to experience it for about 1 million miles.
Yep.
What first impressions? Like it? Don't
Yeah,
like it?
very nice. It's very plush.
So a lot of people
nice.
talk about the interior being really low rent and the build quality being terrible and things like that. What do you think?
It comes across as nice. It seems smart. It seems very minimalistic. There's nothing in there.
Yeah, I always think it's a bit like going to IKEA.
Yeah,
Once you
indeed.
get in a Tesla.
Yeah.
Take the second exit.
So we're now on the M25, folks, which for those of you that don't know, perhaps you're outside the UK, is a circular sort of motorway around the outside of London. We're just going past Heathrow Airport at the moment. The M25 is also known as the car park because most of the time it is a car park. There's always loads of speed restrictions and speed cameras everywhere. It's not the best place in the world to be spending your life, especially not on a wet, windy, horrible day like today. But luckily, I've got Dennis for company. We'll be headed up to the M1 and we'll check in with you at the next stop. Hopefully get a bit of charge into the car while we stop and have a whittle and a drink. So we're now at Ferry Bridge. We're going to stop here and charge. 34 miles left in here. This is the one that the sat-nav actually told us to stop at. So when you calculate your route, it tells you where to stop. It's 1:57. We're now going to stick it on charge, go and get a coffee, and we'll see how much charge we get and how long it takes us. So given my blood pressure problems, Dennis has very kindly bought himself 2 Greggs sausage rolls and he's going to eat them both. It's a good mate. Okay, so we're back in the car. It's just had a 40
minutes.
40 minutes exactly of charge, and it's now on 286 miles of range. So that's 88% of the battery. Probably give it another charge when we get to Newcastle just to top it off, but I probably won't film that. And then we'll all be set for the morning for the drag up to Edinburgh.
But before that, we've got our first official stop of the trip at Gateshead to see the Angel of the North.
It's the Angel of the North.
It was a bit dark, unfortunately.
Right, so we've landed in Newcastle. This is our accommodation for the evening, the Hotel Indigo. It's all quite nice. Don't worry, Dennis, we can push those beds together.
That's great, as long as I'm not in the crack.
Well, we'll leave that one there. Right, folks, it's 6:05 and we're here. We had another little charge at Washington, probably 10-15 minutes, and just topped it up really. The Tesla chargers are really charging that car quickly, and when you use the sat-nav system and it basically picks your charging spots for you, or you navigate to a charging spot, it preconditions the battery, so when you get there it's ready to take fast charge immediately. It's really, really good and really quick. The Tesla app's brilliant.
So after that drive, I'm a bit tired, as you can imagine, mentally more than physically. Physically, I feel fine. The car's incredibly comfortable and it's really easy to drive. It really is quite a nice car. I will be doing a review on that. Driving in all that rain, and especially last couple of hours with headlights on as well, it's a bit of ice-drained city at the moment. We're just going to chill out in the hotel for a bit, and then I think we're going to a Turkish restaurant. Hopefully I can have something there that's not going to kill me. So tomorrow morning the plan is we're going to head out to Edinburgh, but we're going to do so via Whitley Bay and get as much of the coast road in as possible. By the way, I must mention that this video is sponsored by VCheck. And the guys at VCheck have been massively supportive of my channel since I started, and they've made all this possible. So once again, the link to VCheck is in the video description, and it's the best car history check in my opinion, best value for money. Unlike the HPI checks and one or two others, it will give you the full history of the car. So you'll see things like if it's been through a salvage auction, if it's been an unrecorded write-off, if it used to be a taxi, and so much more. Please support VCheck because they support me, and I used them long before I ever became sort of a partner of theirs, and I can't really give you a better recommendation than that.
We got really early to go and have a wander around Newcastle and check out a few of the sites before we made our onward journey to Whitley Bay.
Right, so we've just had our little trip to Whitley Bay. As it's such a nice day, we thought we'd come down and have a look here and get some shots of the car and the lighthouse. It's actually a really, really nice little place. I'm now just sticking Edinburgh into the sat-nav. We're going to go along the coast road just because, again, it's just such a nice day. We're probably going to have a little charge on the way. There is a supercharger actually along the coast. As it is, we've got 254 miles in the car. It says here we'll have 123 left when we get to Edinburgh. However, we're then going down to Carlisle, and I'm probably just going to top it up because in an hour and a half we'll probably be ready for a stop and a coffee. So we might as well use that charger while we're doing it, and that way it's not sort of cutting into our day at all. And then on to Edinburgh from there.
This 18-minute stop gave us time for a coffee and a quick charge, which gave us more than enough range to make it up to Edinburgh and then on to Carlisle. After a thoroughly enjoyable drive up the coastal road, we finally made it to Edinburgh, where we spent a few hours basically being tourists, like about 99% of the folks walking around Edinburgh. If you haven't been before, there's some absolutely stunning buildings in Edinburgh, and gift shops aplenty. We then set off across country along what appeared to be a rally stage of a road before reaching Carlisle for a fairly unmemorable evening.
It's about 6 AM at the moment, and we're about to leave the hotel and make our way to Keswick. Yes, we're going to pop in on the Lake District on the way home, which is why we're up at such an ungodly hour. We're then going to stop at a fairly unique service station, which I'm going to show you, and then make the way back down to Guildford with the Tesla and hopefully get there before closing time. Please keep watching the video. There's still plenty of good stuff to come, and please like and subscribe if you haven't already done so, and don't forget to leave a comment. Any kind of comment helps the algorithm, even if it's just a little thumbs up emoji or something. Thanks.
The sat-nav pointed out this viewpoint called Surprise View just outside Keswick, which was absolutely breathtaking. We also encountered this very cool little stone bridge with a natural waterfall coming down right next to it. We had a little drive through Keswick itself, but as we were so early, we even beat the sun there, so nothing was open. But it's a very nice little place that I'd love to return to for a family holiday at some point. Now, if you've never visited Tebay Services before, you really must. Not only do they serve really great quality homemade food, you've also got an amazing farm shop, a brilliant vista while you sit and eat your food, and there's a Tesla Supercharger, which was very handy. So we had about half an hour, 40-minute stop here and a full charge in the car to get us back to Guildford.
So we made it back. It was a particularly unmemorable journey back. We were both tired. It was pouring down with rain, so I didn't do any filming of that, but we returned the car to Tesla at Guildford. The point of the video was really to see what it's like doing such a long road trip in an EV. And I have to say, it only put 26 minutes onto our journey. We made a point of stopping only when we would normally have stopped. So after a couple of hours of driving, for example, we only used Tesla Superchargers. So we didn't use any destination chargers. We didn't use chargers from any other brand. So that restricted us a bit. So we could only use Tesla Superchargers. But the way they're dotted around, they just seem to naturally fall where we would have had a stop. Only twice did we stop just purely to charge, and it was for like 10-15 minutes each time. Really short amount of time, and we got quite a lot into the battery. The second one of those was actually just a belt and braces thing to make sure we had enough charge to get us back to Guildford, even though the sat nav was telling us we would have had. We just thought, let's just plug in for 10 minutes and just make sure we're comfortably back. The Supercharger network itself is brilliant. It's the best one out there. It doesn't seem to fail. Like all the chargers seem to work, and they all charge fairly quickly. However, if someone pulls into the charger next to you, you will see that your rate of charge goes down considerably. But in that Model Y, we were getting about 370 miles an hour in terms of the speed of the charge going in. Obviously, when it gets above 80%, that slows down a bit, but they're really fantastically good. No buttons to press, nothing to do. You just plug the car in and off you go. Now, would this trip been as easy in a non-Tesla? Well, yes and no. Say we'd done it in an EV6 or an Ioniq 5 or something like that, we would have been able to use all sorts of different chargers. There are far more sort of branded chargers around that are non-Tesla than the Tesla Superchargers. So we would have had loads more to go for, but on the motorways, they're few and far between. What you tend to find is a service station that might have 8 Tesla Superchargers has maybe got 2 or 4 of something else, and that's just not good enough. And you'll often see that they're both full, or all 4 of them are full, or 2 are full and 2 are not working. So it might mean you have to pull off the motorway and go and visit a public charger somewhere else. Not a massive inconvenience, but obviously that would put time onto your journey. In terms of the cost, I couldn't actually track it because Tesla very kindly on the press cars give you free charging. So I didn't have to pay for any charging, which was an absolute bonus. But from what I've seen generally in other videos and articles I've read, it seems that public charging now is about 20% more expensive than buying petrol, which seems absolutely ludicrous. Thankfully, most EV owners will be charging at home, and most of them will be on EV tariffs, or they'll be using a bit of solar or something else. So charging at home is very, very cheap compared to buying petrol. Obviously, public chargers cost a lot, but you have to think, how many times are you going to do more than, say, 250 miles in a day, and you're going to need to use a public charger? And if you do, maybe you only need to use it to put 50 miles in or 70 miles in. It's not going to cost you a lot of money, and then you take it back home and charge again. This is a point that I think a lot of people don't fully understand and miss out on. If charging at home is really cheap, you want to charge at home as much as possible, and then on those long journeys, just put in what you need to complete your journey. You don't have to fill it up to 100% every time. But yes, it was much easier doing this in a Tesla with that Tesla network than it would have been if I'd done it in something else, I think. Now, in future, of course, Tesla may be opening up the network to all other brands, and at that point, the Tesla network might not be that amazing, unique selling point that it is right now. So that's something else to bear in mind if you're considering a Tesla. It's not an amazing video by any means, but it's hours of footage. It's taken me 2 days to edit it. So please give it a thumbs up. I'd love to do more of these, and I can only do more of these if this one gets a lot of support. So share it wherever you can. Follow me on social media. Please do whatever you can to spread the word, and I'll see you next time. I've done a deal with VCheck, who I think are one of the premier providers of online car history checks. As you can see here on this quick sample report, you can check the registered VIN number against the one that's actually on the vehicle. You can see the current MOT and road tax status. Has the car ever been stolen? Is there outstanding finance? Has it been an insurance write-off? If so, what kind? If it has been, can you see photos of the car before the damage was repaired? You know, you might see this car now and it's in perfect condition, but does seeing these images of it at the time of the accident make you change your mind possibly? Has it been a taxi? Number of previous keepers and the dates for those, number plate changes, mileage records. This is great because you can see any discrepancies in the mileage in a really easy to follow way. So if it done 50,000 one year, 40 the next, you know there's a problem. You've also got the MOT history checks all built into this one single report, and it will give you a basic car valuation. The bundles start from £1.60 a check, but I would all strongly recommend you go for the full check. Now I've done a deal with VCheck. They do pay me if you use my link, so please do that because it helps support the channel. And I have to tell you that this is a completely unbiased recommendation. You should never buy a used car without running these kind of checks, and this is a fantastic one. Please use the link in the video description and help support the channel.